Newsom's picks in 2028. Secretary of Transportation, pedal to the metal Patty. It's Sunday. I'm Akorn. Welcome back to Laugh While the World Burns, bringing you your weekly dose of idiocracy memes and news. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and let's get into today's show. Apparently, you can just make stuff up.
Most undocumented immigrants pay more taxes than anyone, and they are 5 times less likely to commit crimes than Americans.
Sunny Hostin, The View. Of course they can just make stuff up. Haven't you ever heard of the media and the news? They're only second to the government. Problem solved. Tech boss sacks entire HR team because they create problems that didn't exist and issues disappeared after layoffs. Of course the problems went away. The only people that complain to HR are their perpetually offended Karens and some Kevins. My daughter lost 1 point on her homework because the staple was in the wrong spot. The entire assignment was only worth 5 points, so 20% of her grade was apparently based on advanced stapling techniques. Yeah, that sounds about right. Schools have always put conformity before education, especially today. When he doesn't cheat on you, loves you unconditionally, pays all your bills, and treats you like a princess. Yeah, they used to get away with this, but most guys ain't putting up with this stuff no more. And a lot of women is finally starting to figure that out. Woke. A state of awareness achieved only by people stupid enough to find injustice in everything except their own actions. That is a 100% fact-check true. That describes a lot of people today. I don't know if you guys heard about this one, but far less gay. UFC fighter Sean Strickland posts fake Bud Light ad commemorating Pride Month. Alright guys, I just thought this was kind of funny. I'm gonna try to include the clip next. However, if it gets hit with copyright or is censored otherwise, I'll have to take it out. So if there's no video clip following this, you guys will just have to Google it if you want to watch it.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of UFC.
Perhaps the greatest mistake made in American history was allowing government to educate our children. Perhaps? No. There is no question. They used the so-called education system to dumb down the population and turn us all into worker drones, to say the least. And now today, well, kids can't even read and write, let alone anything else. Wife. Please don't wear that in public. Me. He should wear that t-shirt everywhere. And if you identify as 0% liberal and want everyone to know, this tee is now available in the AkornStash merch store. Link down below in the video description. Can't wait for World War I to end so we can get rid of this temporary income tax. Yeah, it was actually first brought in during the Civil War, then they brought it back in 1913, hand in hand with the so-called Federal Reserve that same year, which is actually the elite's private bank. In the UK, it's a crime to hurt the feelings of certain minority groups, while real crimes by these same minority groups go unchecked. Yeah, and if you're white and say anything about the invasion, or all the white people that are being killed in the streets, including kids, and much more that's going on, you'll be arrested for hate speech. And this same thing is already in the early stages of happening here in the US too. Anyone know what they all have in common? Yeah, I'm sure you guys heard what another UFC fighter said about Michelle. As far as I know, Joan Rivers was the first person to say it on air. Of course, she died during an outpatient medical procedure not too long after that. just happen to be the same stuff that they say that Michael Jackson died from too. When the prey is armed, predators think twice. Yeah, that's true, but it only works with open carry. And something that gets me is why there's so many people that is against open carry. They act like just people being able to see it is threatening or something, but yet they don't say anything about the cops doing it. Sometimes you just gotta stay in the house cause outside costs like $300 a day. Unfortunately, that's just about to the truth at this point. When an Indian goes on a walk with his dog. If only dogs had that ability, this might actually be true. British man arrested by UK police after posting vacation photo of himself shooting a gun in America. And this is true, guys. I had a news article about this in a past show. So basically, the UK is arresting people for doing things in other countries that's perfectly legal there. But it's only gonna get worse, guys. Carmelio Anthony claims to be penniless and unable to pay for appeal despite $625,000 in donations. Only in America can a convicted murderer get people to send in donations passing $500,000 just because of his skin color. And it's not just him saying that he don't have any money, because now, from what I've read, his family is saying that they have no money and that all the donations went to pre-trial legal defense, family relocation, and living expenses. Isn't it cute when you find a cat resting on the roof of your car? No, not if it was a nice car. They tend to scratch it up a bit. Of course, the one in the bottom left, you might still get a pretty good insurance payout. It's aliens. Or Trump's found a way to give the liberals mass nervous breakdowns. They look like vampires to me. Must be some of the elites who stayed behind the scenes until now. Tina Kotek announces $500 fine for unauthorized splashing on Oregon rivers. In a bold new effort to restore order and tranquility to Oregon's waterways, Governor Tina Kotek unveiled legislation this week that would impose a $500 fine for any unauthorized splashing on rivers across the state. Yeah, and the next thing you know, they'll have to go to the DNR to get a permit. But you know what the worst thing is? You almost need to Google this to see if it's true or if it's satire. Because it wouldn't have surprised me one iota that this was real. And the only real reason that I knew it was satire right off the bat is because it's listed as humor news satire right next to the date there on the article. They should have told her to raise her eyebrows up a little higher and they'd have been set for a match. California before $37 billion in aid. California after $37 billion in aid. Aliens? No. PSYOP? Yes. Here's one for you guys. Got a backpack harness for your kid. It allows your halfling to operate a crossbow from an elevated position while still leaving your hands free for melee. Hey, that's thinking outside the box in a productive way. MLB warns Giants players who wrote Bible verses on Pride Night hats. Major League Baseball has issued a warning to the San Francisco Giants after some of its players wrote Bible verses on Pride Night hats, worn during the 5-1 loss to the Chicago Cubs on Friday. 3 Giants pitchers were seen with Bible verses written on their caps on Friday, when the Giants celebrated Pride Night at Oracle Park. Giants starting pitcher Landon Roop had Genesis 9:12-16 written on his cap. Yeah, can't have them telling people where the rainbow was stolen from. You know, that one time when everything was destroyed because of all the sins and the abominations that had filled the whole earth? Just like today. Speaking of which, Rob Schneider says he will pay any fines that the MLB players get for writing Bible verses on their hats during Pride Month. Democrats finding out that it's illegal for black people to just stab white people to death. Well, it's basically legal in a number of other countries, and it's happening in a lot more. Indiana mayor says only poor people oppose data centers. Well, this is true because the rich are the ones that's building these places in order to complete their final enslavement of the peasants. See no fraud, hear no fraud, speak no fraud. That's all the politicians. You know, guys, when you see a video clip and you just really want to believe that it's a skit, but in the back of your mind, you know that it's not, well, take a look at this one.
I'm just not sure why people are so upset that the stock market is down when they don't even own a cow or a pig or have anything to do with livestock.
What?
Should I go jogging? Maybe tomorrow, or the next day.
We've had reports that you've been watching YouTube after 8:30 p.m.
It's just a matter of time, guys. Small Town Bakery counters Pride Month, faces backlash for promoting biblical values. Yeah, of course they do. A lot of towns these days would probably have them arrested, or at least revoke their business license. Listen to this one, guys. New California program demands proof of gayness for $633 million in contracts. On June 16th, independent journalists published a detailed expose on California's gay certification program in City Journal. The report blew the lid off the progressive state's initiative to pressure utility companies into awarding $633 million in contracts to businesses officially certified as LGBT-owned, complete with a bizarre state-run process requiring proof of sexual orientation. To qualify, business owners must submit documents such as same-sex marriage license, letters from LGBT organizations, or even affidavits from personal contacts attesting them to their sexual orientation, with stiff penalties including up to a year in jail for false claims. That's the state this nation is in today. Maybe America is trying too hard. The flying dump truck isn't showing the promise expected. Well, here's another one. I guess this goes with the Ferrari that was stuck in the sign on last week's show, and the motorcycle that was stuck on the red light pole on the show from 2 weeks ago. Banned teen chef helps food bank celebrate anniversary. A 14-year-old chef who was banned by a council from cooking at his family's food truck has been providing live demonstrations and recipes at his local food bank. Dexter from Four Marks in Hampshire helped Alton Food Bank celebrate its 15th birthday on Saturday by cooking free tasters and sharing his favorite recipes with residents. In February, Hampshire County Council threatened to prosecute the teen's father for letting Dexter work at their family's food truck, which it said was against the law under the Children and Young Persons Act of 1933. Yeah, they literally hate to see any of the young adults, teens, or kids today having any ability and skills to actually do anything. They'd rather have them out on the streets robbing people or doing anything else besides being a respectable young person working and doing something useful. 86-year-old Pennsylvania farmer rejects $15 million offer to sell his beloved farmland for a massive data center project. Well, he won't have to see it if he passes on, but will his kids keep the farm also? Or will this end up being in some of the areas that are pushing for so-called laws that give the companies that's building these data centers the power to confiscate farmers' land, like I had in last week's show? This woman was arrested after locking a pizza delivery driver inside her home for movie night. Well, she might get a movie made about her now. It's pretty sad just how true this is, and unfortunately, it's only going to get way worse. Trump revisits idea to annex Canada and make it the 51st state, days after Carney calls for a new partnership with the U.S. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll get their North American Union eventually. Opinion. AI could put artists, actors, and writers out of jobs, but it could do bad things as well. Oh, it's going to be used for a lot of bad things. We haven't even hardly started to see what they're really going to use it for. One day, we're going to have to watch an ad before we can answer the phone. I could definitely see this happening with text messages. During the Black Death, Scotland suffered a population decline of 30 to 50%. This was tragic because at the time, Scottish elites didn't have the means to replace that lost population with Somalians. As a result, wages for the average peasant sadly tripled. Yeah, just another created event. So let me get this straight. I go to the grocery store and buy a pound of roast beef in a plastic bag, a loaf of bread in a plastic bag, a gallon of milk in a plastic jug, a pack of napkins in plastic wrap, a store-made salad in a plastic tub, a plastic bottle of mustard and ketchup, but they won't give me a plastic bag to carry it home because the plastic bag is bad for the environment. Yeah, because that's how climate change works. Florida man refuses to pay taxes because he did not personally approve any of the spending. Too bad the whole country wouldn't stand up and do this, because there's not a single one of us that approved it either. Stop calling them data centers. They're mass surveillance facilities that will force 99% of us into a digital prison by 2030. They've point blank shown and stated that that's their agenda. Federal regulators order grid operators to speed power to energy-hungry AI data centers. Why didn't they do this when they were saying that rolling blackouts were coming because there wasn't enough power for everyone to be running their air conditioners in the summer or the heat in the winter? All we were ever told is that it was all our fault and we're using too much electricity. But sure, they'll roll out the red carpet for these mass surveillance companies. Kim Jong-un takes massive bong rip without coughing as show of strength. Well, sometimes I could take a hit off a joint and get to coughing pretty bad. Sometimes it just depends on how the smoke hits you. The left says corrupt billionaires are the problem. The right says corrupt government is the problem. And I'm here like, you do realize corrupt billionaires are running the corrupt government, right? Yes, they are. The parasites own and rule the world. A patriot is disposable meat. He bleeds out in the mud purely so fat cowards in suits can steal more oil. Smedley Butler. Just like Henry Kissinger said, military men are dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns for foreign policy. And that's exactly what all the soldiers are to the elites. They're nothing but pawns for their games. They couldn't care less about the lives of the men, their families, nor what they suffer. If you liked this video, then you'll love the one that'll pop up here. If you're looking for the latest Gen X series episodes, they can be found now on my other channel, AkornTV Live. The last live stream was last night, but the next AkornTV live stream Hangout and Smoke session will be Saturday, June 27th, starting at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out all the new designs now available in the merch store. These and all other links mentioned are down below in the video description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back for more. I'll see you guys next weekend. Until then, you guys take care and stay safe this week. This is Akorn, over and out.